Okay, video review of the Mlad laser. We've got visible green low, and this is visible, therefore you don't need this night vision device to see it. Visible green high, which is insanely powerful even for a visible laser. And then we've got the IR flood, which we can open up the divergence on this, and it is incredibly strong with a very petri dish like defined illuminator edge, and that far tree line is almost 500 yards away. We double tap it here, lock it on, and you can use the knob in the back to rotate the divergence to the point where it's damn near a freaking floodlight spotting scope. And again, this is ridiculously powerful. Wonderful infrared laser. This is a Class 3B law enforcement government only product. However, if you are purchasing as an officer with credentials, we generally can get you taken care of. Now we have the off position going back to the left of off 1. We have infrared low. Again, invisible to the human eye. We've got IR and flood also low together, which is more practical for an urban environment and again, I'm going to turn the gain down on this because the camera on the cell phone is not really representing the gain accurately, as most of them do not. Let's try that. Turn it down 25%. This is being filmed with a 2791 FOM L3 PVS 14. And again, this is the low power setting with illuminator and aiming laser. Aiming laser high, which is like a daggone lightsaber. We did some testing 3 months ago, and we had a guy 4.5 miles down the road, and he said the beam looked like a lightsaber going over his head. So you could even use this for fire control, battlefield movement, and coordination under night vision. And then you have dual night vision and infrared aiming laser on high. Double tap. And again, you can adjust this thing. One thing I will say is this is great for long-range night shooting, especially given the fact that it's almost half the size of a pack. It fits inside of a pack of cigarettes, and it is a DI optical product from South Korea. But unlike a lot of the American lasers that have plastic or injection molded polymer, etc. housings, this is aircraft grade aluminum, 7075 T6 anodized. Extremely well made product. Steel recoil lugs and hardware. And again, this is just to give you an idea. At 35 yards, it's just completely overpowering. And the cell phone video is giving it a smidge more light than it would see to the human eye, or than it would appear to have to the human eye. But it still completely washes out the target. But for 300, 400, 500 yards, it's almost ideal for any kind of precision carbine or DMR, Overwatch type marksman roles. And on low, it can be used quite effectively for close quarters maneuvers, anything from hog hunting. Well, this isn't built for that, but not to say that it couldn't be repurposed. But just to give you an idea. And again, the far fence line down there, just below the dot. It's almost 500 yards away. It's like 490, 500. On the far left side, it's like 512 yards away. So it has visible and aiming low and high. And again, this thing is just ridiculous. It's an amazing laser for the size. I'm going to pause this and then finish the video up with a non-night vision indoor close-up on the product. Okay, so what comes in the box? You have the Mlad, runs on a single CR123 battery. You have your crane plug and switch with a two-sided adhesive. This is the newer switch they're doing, brand new to this version. It has a rail interface and is considerably shortened. The previous generation, the 30 or 40 that we got before, had a standard 2.5, 2.25 inch tape switch. And then you get one lens cloth and some specialty tools that are battlefield ideal, with holes for dummy cords. And a unique feature to this, it's also very common sense on the side of the unit. Well, first and foremost, let's take a look at this. So, forgive my crude camera work I'm using. You have your diversions adjustment knob. You have off, visible low, visible high, illuminator on high, and then going from the left of off you have illuminator low, dual low, illuminator high, and dual high. Your fire button is located directly in the center. Not unlike your PEC 15s and L3 aiming lasers, a double tap will lock this device on. But on the side of the unit, you have a very common sense tool built right in. You have a turret for an aim point key style adjustment piece to work with windage and elevation on one of the two settings on this device. Tag on doing this one-handed after being out on a gun range all day. Gotta set the phone down, sorry. Okie dokie. And then you have a front-loading CR123 battery compartment and this rubberized weather coating protective cover here, which you can basically open up, and you can see your emitters. Everything is essentially slaved together, except there are one set of adjustments for the bottom two emitters and one for the IR flood, hence the two different key sizes. The outer bands with the holes at the far edges, and then the inner band, which can be adjusted by this tool here, which is exactly the right size to work with this outer band here. And then you have this little would-be flathead wrench type application, although a screwdriver would work fine for your windage near elevation. Again, this is an aluminum housing. This can be adjusted with a screwdriver. I don't know the wrench size offhand, but again, you have steel and aluminum lugs, a recoil lug built in. Very, very robust interface, and when this is actually mounted on the weapon system, the battery runs parallel to the Picatinny axis, so everything to the right of this knife handle is what would go around your front sight post or flip up front sights, which makes the snag hazard or protrusion factor extremely small in this, like similar to an N-Gal or a Raid, but this is smaller than either of those two devices. We've basically dealt with everything here, I think, except for one or two lasers that are like the Islet Ultra. but you know, they're minigun 50 cal mounted items. But anyway, it's a solid item. You can put it in your hands. You can feel it. It doesn't feel flimsy. It's extremely well made. All the buttons and switches are seriously tactile. I'm guessing they have O-ring seals. The construction is just first rate. I mean, it feels in the hand superior to anything L3 or some of the other companies make. It's, I'd say, closer to a mall in terms of the robustness of its construction. And I am going to weigh this real quick just for the video. Gotta cover the camera because they're walking by some sensitive stuff. However, we have our scale. We are at 8.4 ounces. That's with a lithium-ion CR123 on board. And we gotta walk right by the sensitive stuff again. So we're gonna close the lens here. And we're back to our work table. And this is the Mlad-3, not to be confused with the H or Hotel Lad. This is the M or Mike Lad. This is a Class 3B full power laser, obviously. I had to go online and download the manual and then get it translated from South Korean. I'm sorry, correction, it is anodized aircraft aluminum 6061, not 7075 T6. Length, width, and height are 104 millimeters by 58 by 42 millimeters. You have a visible green pointer with low is just under 1 milliwatt. It's 5 milliwatts on high. The IR pointer, or infrared aiming laser, is a little under 30 milliwatts on low and 50 milliwatts on high. That is 835 to 860 nanometers of wavelength for the infrared pointer or aiming laser. The infrared illuminator is 835 to 860 milliwatt or nanometers. I'm sorry, also, and you are at 520 to 540 nanometers for the green visible laser. Let's see, visible green pointer Class 3 R, IR pointer Class 3 R, illuminator Class 3B, CR23, yada yada yada, battery life, 2 levels of brightness, yada yada yada. I think that pretty much covers everything for this very crude review. One other thing to note, in addition to its amazingly beautiful construction, you have your watertight little compartment there for your crane plug, and this has 2 safety lockout screws. One just prevents you from going all the way to the farthest right illuminator high, and then one stops you from going to the left 2 most positions, also high powered. Again, just an amazing, it feels very, very well made. This likely will not pass EMI testing, and therefore generally cannot be purchased by U.S. military units that are going to use it to export or deploy offshore with. EMI rating is one of those little things that can be a pain in the ass. Electromagnetic interference, much like night vision that was manufactured in aluminum housings or metal housings, the military generally won't touch it, but it makes you wish they would if you were in a unit where you had an option to have this issued to you, as it's generally more compact, extremely ergonomic. And in a previous video we did before our channel got hacked and we had to upload all these videos like this and redo a bunch of them, right after we did our end goal rate comparison video, we had noted how when you're a right-handed shooter you can use your thumb to C-clamp your rifle. You don't have to take your finger off of the fire button or within millimeters of it, as you can generally bump the selector lever on the left side to manipulate it into and out of the various modes that you're trying to achieve, which this is the only laser I know of that can do that. And again, I apologize for the shoddy camera work, but until someone else wants to make a better video about this, there's nothing out there in the field that I currently know of that does a pretty deep dive on this thing. We are one of the vendors that carries this product in inventory. We generally have them on hand unless your department needs like 20 or more, which is not a problem at all. We can generally get them 30 to 40 days lead time. So yeah, that is a kind of quick and dirty overview. Me and the other two gentlemen that were with me right before I started filming this, we're out doing a night shoot, so I've just been on the gun range all afternoon. So yeah, but again, you have a steel cable connecting your battery cap to the unit so you can't lose it. Everything's pretty much dummy or soldier proof here, cop proof. And again, you have this cover for when not in use to protect your emitters both physically and from light. And that's everything. So again, I know it's really crappy camera work, but I'm doing this with a camera on a cell phone by myself without any help. So I'm gonna pack everything back up. This, along with a bunch of other ones, are getting ready to ship to an agency. And that's that. So this most recent version, the manufacturer had worked out a few kinks in it as far as the crane plug, the two copper spurs that actually interlock and connect with and conduct that electrical charge through it. They had a couple of hiccups here and there, nothing that really couldn't be easily addressed, but they took steps at the manufacturer to remedy that. So yeah, again, I hope you found this video informative, and if you have any questions, you can email us at warhammerarmaments@gmail.com, or check us out at warhammerarms.net. Our new website just got launched 4 days ago and is currently being updated with some last minute odds and ends. So take care. Thank you.